I have a dark, uncontrollable desire. Not a desire for drinking blood, but a desire for performance. And only the light of one thing can utterly destroy me.
No! High graphics! It burns!
Vampyr is a new RPG about being a vampire at the start of the 20th century, and that is pretty cool. While the minimum requirements are in line with what you will expect in a recently released game, I want to play it on this Intel UHD laptop. To get there, we'll have to sacrifice more than your humanity. No, seriously, it's going to take a lot. Welcome to the LowSpecGamer, a channel dedicated to finding ways of lowering game graphics to make them work in low-end computers by all means possible. Let's take a look at this game. Since Vampyr is a new game running on the Unreal Engine 4, if you're having trouble running it after lowering all the settings to the lowest, there's still a fair amount you can do. The configuration files are located in your user folder, the hidden app data folder, local, ABI game, saved, config, Windows no editor. If you're looking for a quick solution, you will need to go into game user settings where the resolution quality line controls the game's internal resolution. The game's menu only goes down to 70, but you can choose any percentage in the file. This allows you to drop the game's resolution without affecting the readability of the UI or other text, so I highly recommend this instead of dropping the external resolution. The lowest shadow in the game are subtle, but still there. If you want to disable them completely, you can set shadow quality to 0. Now, if you're desperate and you want to go hard on this game, you can copy these commands in the scalability.ini. Two things are notorious on this file. This line initially controls the draw distance of the game, and the lowest value of 0.1 has some unexpected side effects, as a lot of inconspicuous objects are not drawn unless you're right next to them. This is definitely not what I had in mind for early 20th century English architecture. And the other thing is that certain character models are loaded as outside the draw distance, and this means that the lowest quality model is loaded everywhere. Wait, hold the fuck, what? Hold the fuck on, what?
Good evening.
Oh
Good
my
evening,
god!
Dr. Reid.
What the Jesus, what the heck? Finally, this section forces single-color flat textures on everything, which not only dramatically changes the face of our protagonist, but produces some weird effects regarding the hair. Now, for the purposes of this test, I am using a Dell XPS 13 with an Intel UHD 620 as its only GPU. On the usual lower settings and 720, the game was a stuttery mess, which I suspect had to do with the high quantity of RAM used as VRAM by the integrated GPU. Applying all these changes from before with an internal resolution of 50% surprisingly makes for a much better experience, although the game obviously looks like an entirely different thing. This is quite the— Oh shit! What just happened? Oh! I was probably like in cutscene mode, and during cutscenes the full detail models are loaded, and after that was done it just reverted back to— oh god! And while not perfectly smooth, even combat was achievable with a high level of performance. Although, just like how Vampyr transforms a human, the configuration file has changed this game into something that no longer resembles its original state in any meaningful way. Now, one of the most interesting things about Vampyr is how, since the protagonist is a doctor, thankfully not a plastic surgeon, it tries to combine science with the vampire myth. Obviously, as the game explains every time you log in, there are a lot of creative liberties taken for this to happen. However, real-world science has a ton of fascinating things that border on being weirder than fiction. You might think concepts like calculus, relativity, and quantum mechanics are super difficult to get a grasp on, but that is because you don't know about Brilliant, a website where you can learn science in an easy and intuitive manner by solving problems. It is a ton of fun, and you will be learning a great deal in the progress. If you want to give it a try, there are many free courses to try, but the first 200 people that use the link in the description get 20% off a premium subscription. Thank you to them for sponsoring this video, and thank you if you're sponsoring this channel in Patreon.